Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Well, today I'm featuring a very cool watch, and a watch that has been lent to the channel by my friend Sam. Thank you so much, Sam, for lending me this wonderful watch. I'm really excited to have some hands-on experience with it because it has some rather interesting reviews online, and it has been said by so many people that this is the best quality homage of the watch that is fairly obviously being homaged. This is the Ginault Ocean Rover 2. It is said to be really, really good, and I've been really excited to get that hands-on experience with it. But for the price, I kind of would hope that it is really good, because it is 1,699 Australian dollars. Now, for that sort of money, there's a lot of amazing watches you can buy. But if you're particularly loving the watch that this one is homaging, but you really want a really good version of it, well, this apparently is the watch to buy. But let's get to the video now. Let's check out this Ginault. Let's flip the camera and let's have a look. Well, thank you very much again to Sam for lending this one in. The Ginault Ocean Rover 2 201175LS1CN. And doesn't that present very, very nicely? Hand built in America. Nice little tool here. A couple of things up here I want to show you before we even get into looking at this watch, because it presents really nicely. Firstly, we've got a nice little card here talking about the movement thickness. The caliber is the Sellita SW200. Gives you a bit of more information about it, and gives you a nice sort of setup about how the movement is being performing, which is a lovely thing to see. And the warranty card looks really cool, and it is personalized to you particularly. Obviously, I'm covering up Sam's name here, but it's specifically to him and all the model numbers, etc. that's listed on here. Really nicely displayed. Nice little bit of gold touches on there as well. And because this watch has been lent to the channel by my friend Sam, I'm obviously not going to be wearing it a lot. I don't want to damage it in any possible way. So really this video then becomes more of a first impressions with a little bit of a sort of a mini review thrown in. And let me tell you, there is some very strong first impressions going on here for me. And that is that this thing is really, really well made. I am rather shocked at how well made this is. And I guess for the price of this watch, it really should be well made, because what I've found online, this particular watch is $1,699. And that is not an affordable watch, but it is an absolutely amazing watch. So I can now start to understand where that money is going. The next thing that stood out to me is that I had a watch very similar to this by Steinhardt, and I said that that watch was absolutely brilliant. This watch is better. If you're watching this and you're thinking about getting one of these watches, or you're thinking about a Steinhardt, or you're thinking about another good quality homage of this style of watch, well, this hands down is the best I have ever handled. In fact, it's probably as good as any watch I've ever handled, including sort of well-known brands that are a lot more expensive. The finishing on this watch is stunning, has a lovely movement inside of it, and everything about it just comes together in a great package. Very, very impressive. I now understand why so many people are talking about this being the best homage of this style of watch. So as mentioned, it has a Sellita SW200-1, has a screw down crown, manual winding, does have hacking of course, being a Sellita movement, which is nice. Comes with 300 meters of water resistance. Underneath that flat piece of sapphire crystal, we have a piano black dial, applied indices, polished hands, lots of lume. Really strong Cyclops there, isn't it? Really, really strong. Everything else is printed, including that rose, the name Ginault, and all the text that is on the dial. A minute track around the outside is also printed. Has a brushed sort of inner stainless steel retort there. Surrounding it, we've got a really nice ceramic bezel insert, sort of etched into with those numbers, which I think looks really cool. It's exactly what we're expecting from the profile, sloping down with a sort of a bezel edge there, or a scalloped edge there. Very nice to grab onto. 120 click unidirectional, very nice sounding, very nice feeling, very nice resistance, and absolutely no backplay. It's one of those bezels that you just sort of want to play with because it has a really nice sound and a really nice feel to it. And of course, as of a watch that I would expect at this sort of price, it all lines up very, very nicely. Let's talk about dimensions, because there's quite a few dimensions to talk about here, because the case is actually 39.5 millimeters, but the bezel overhangs just a tiny bit at 40 millimeters. It is 12.6 millimeters thick, but with that Cyclops it adds a tiny little bit, making it 13.7 millimeters. Lug to lug is 47.4 millimeters, but as you'll see there are male end links, so the effective lug to lug is actually 50.9 millimeters. The lug width is 20 millimeters, but there's a huge amount of taper down to 15.5 millimeters, which really makes it sit nicely quite on wrist. And the weight set up for my friend Sam is 138 grams. Now, the good thing about this one, and the good thing that allows me to wear it, is I'll show you a little bit later, it has that gliding lock style, which allows me to set it a little bit closer so I can actually wear this one on wrist a little bit more comfortably without having to adjust this bracelet. It comes with a whole heap of lume. I'll put in a very quick lume shot now just to give you a bit of an understanding of the lume and what it looks like on this watch before we jump back and talk about the case. Because this one, we're not really sort of having any surprises when it comes to it, because it very much is a homage watch here. So we have brushing on the top, polishing on the sides. That case sort of side profile is what we expect. Solid end links, all brushed, and a beautiful brushing I do have to say. Nice and fit to the case really, really well. Really does sit in there nicely. Polished on the outside. Screw links. We do have that clasp that we are expecting from this style. Very nice to utilize as well. Very easy, very soft and silky to move, all milled inside. And you'll see here that has that gliding lock style inside. So you pull this one up and you can move it back and forth a lot. There's a huge amount of movement here. So I've got it set all the way in so it actually sits onto my wrist, so I can actually give you a proper wrist roll with this particular watch. When we are looking at the back of it, again, pretty much what we expect, a fairly simple case back. There is a little bit of text out and around that sort of brushed inner circle, but not too much going on. And it's got that sort of screw down style that we sort of expect from this homage style watch. And on wrist, it feels gorgeous. I do have to admit, you sort of notice how good quality this watch is when it is on wrist. It just has a nice feel to it, a nice weight to it. It feels very soft on wrist. I'm not sure if that's the right wording, but it just feels very comfortable. Lovely to have on wrist. Really impressive. I do understand now, after knowing the price of this watch, that you are actually getting something rather special for that money. So what do I like about it? What don't I like about it? And what would I change? The thing I like the most about it is how good it is. It is incredibly well made. That's pretty much it. It's stunning. If you like this style of watch but you can't afford or justify, or you don't want to own the sort of the watch that it is homaging, but you want a really, really good quality version of it, I don't think there is much better than this one out there. If there is, I certainly have not seen it. What don't I like about it? Well, it's funny because the only things I don't like about it, or the only things that I would actually change about it, are the things that it is homaging and it's just my personal tastes again. You know, I'd remove the Cyclops and the date. I'd actually put an interesting case back on it, but then it wouldn't be as much of a homage as it is, because it is trying to be a homage. It's not pretending to be anything else. So I'd be sort of dragging it away from being a homage just to suit my own personal tastes. But that aside, absolutely beautiful, well-made watch. I can understand why people like this one so much. Now, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.